All right, everybody. Hello and welcome to the presentation. Thank you so much for being here. Happy Saturday to you, wherever you are in this beautiful, beautiful, beautiful world. Yeah, so it's if you want to go to my website, you certainly can. BishopJamesLong.com. Head on over there, BishopJamesLong.com. If you want to go to the church's website, it's USOC. Thank you, USOCC.org. That is the church's website. So it's all the information is there for you. If you want to know who we are and all that other stuff, let me fix this fan. There we go. So anyway, that's where you need to go. BishopJamesLong.com and USOCC.org. Tomorrow we will be here for Mass at 6 p.m. Eastern. And then, of course, we have Bible study tomorrow night at 8 p.m. Eastern. Miss Wilma is not with us tonight. She was released from the hospital. She had to go to the hospital, and but her vitals are fine, and so that's good. So they said, okay, you're doing better. Your vitals are good, so you can go home and rest, and that's what she's doing. And I would think by next week she should be feeling much better, and be able to jump on the show with us. So yeah, for those of you who have been, and I appreciate you asking how I'm doing. So unfortunately, I had to miss yesterday, and I don't like missing. That's one of the things. It's very rare. It is ultra, ultra, ultra rare. Those of you who know me know that when I miss, it is because I physically cannot be present. Either I am out of town for ministry, and I'm unable to connect to all the things, or I'm sick. I mean, it's one, and I have to be pretty darn sick. So let me give you, because people keep asking, and I appreciate it, I really do. So Thursday, I decided to go ahead and get the COVID vaccine. Before anybody starts preaching to me, don't. I'm in my 50s, and I don't need people preaching. I made the decision because, I have other health issues, and one thing, of course, other issues is migraines and cluster headaches. But a couple of years ago, I went to we had a wedding, and some folks didn't know that, they had COVID, and I caught it. And let me tell you something. I did not get my vaccine. I was sick. I think we could say deathly sick. And that's not being dramatic, for a month, because I had not gotten the vaccine. I forgot all about it. And I caught the COVID. And let me tell you what happened. For an entire month, I really thought at one time I was in trouble. My blood pressure, well, actually the temperature went up to 104.5. And I was so weak, I couldn't even go pick up the phone to call the ambulance. I couldn't do it. I just had no strength to even pick the phone up. And then 2 hours later, it went to 98.6. And then an hour later, it to 103.9. It did this for an entire month. So I vowed I would never go through that again. And I mean it. So I know there are some people that are anti-vaxxers, and that's fine. If that's what you wish, that's your right. But I know my body, and I will never go through that again. Never, ever, never. That was quite terrible, because I'm a celibate man. I have no one here. And when I'm sick, I got to take care of myself. So Thursday, we have a big retreat coming up in April. And I thought, nope, I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to do it. I'm going to make sure, 100%, I'm going to make sure that because I don't want to go through that again. And so there is a new vaccine out. So for those of you who don't know, so the secret when you get the vaccines is to take 2 Tylenol. And when you get take 2 Tylenol, the effects, they're not as bad. That's what I've always found in the previous vaccines. So just a heads up on that. However, you know what? I forgot all about poor old Instagram. However, I did take my 2 Tylenol as normal. And this is the brand new vaccine that is out. There's apparently a brand new one. And I also got the shingles shot. The last one, protected. So that was another humdinger. And I'd encourage you, if you have not got the shingle shot, you should. I sleep on my side. I can't sleep on my back because I have stenosis and degenerative disc disease. When I sleep on my back, my legs go completely numb and it feels like it's on fire. So I have to sleep on my side. Well, I got a shot in my left for the shingles and the right for the COVID. So I could not sleep on my side. Needless to say, I did not sleep. But Thursday night and Friday morning, I shook violently. I was shaking for about 8 hours. And I had the heat. I even put a heating blanket on, level 10. And I was shaking for 8 hours straight. So, and I took my 2 Tylenol. And I was after, so I did. I got the vaccine and I was shaking. Now, so for Friday, forget it. I really truly felt like 100% I had the flu. And today I'm still not feeling that great. I was going to go to my dad's. He's in the hospital, but I'm just not going to travel that distance. Not feeling like this. Tomorrow, perhaps, yeah, I should be able to stop by and say howdy. Right now, I just feel very hot and flushed and tired, but not as bad as yesterday. So would I have it? Would I have it? I would have it again. Absolutely. I would absolutely have the vaccine again. See, let me just make this clear to everybody. One thing that I don't like is people saying that it's poison and don't take it. Let me tell you what you're doing. You could, in fact, be kind of giving people some doubt. I'm going to tell you a fact about the COVID vaccine, whether you like it or not. So I was a chaplain. I did chaplaincy in the hospital all the time. And people who constantly tell people don't get the vaccines, let me tell you what you're doing. And you need to listen carefully because I'm seeing some comments in the chat room. You are leading people astray because there are people like myself who have serious health issues that COVID could, in fact, cause, life-threatening situations. And as a chaplain, I was there when COVID happened. I saw the constant deaths. And it was so overwhelming that a lot of chaplains quit because it was just too much. So while you may have an opinion, I have a fact. And here's the fact. I was there. I was at the hospital. I saw the amount of deaths that were occurring. And then when the COVID vaccine came out, it was like someone turned a switch on. And so for those of you who continue to tell people, don't do it, you're convinced, then what you're doing is you're leading people astray. Because I saw it. I was there. I witnessed it firsthand. And when the vaccine came out, and then COVID became, a bad flu situation where it was manageable versus people in body bags. And that's what I was seeing all the time. It didn't matter if it was, I saw a 25-year-old mom, and she came in and she was very healthy person. And she came in and had a hard time breathing. They put her on the vent and her body just failed. And this was prior to the vaccine. And it breaks my heart because I just wonder if the vaccine had come out. So people can go and they can choose not to, that's your right. But what we're not going to do here, and I'm not going to allow it on this platform, is you're not going to sit and tell people, don't take the vaccine, don't do this, don't do that, because you could really be misleading people. What I say to people is do your own work, do your own research. And if you have other health issues like I do, then get the damn vaccine. Get it. Because I'm telling you now, as a chaplain who saw the amount of deaths in Kentucky when COVID happened. And then I saw how it just stopped when the vaccine came out. I mean, it was dramatic. So, okay, Andrew, I'm gonna tell you one more time. If you come in here and you spouse that bullshit, I'm gonna block you. So I'm not playing with games with you. Because what you're doing is you could be misleading people, and then they could say, well, maybe I shouldn't take it. And if in fact they don't and they get COVID and they pass away, it is on your hands. Well, then you know what? Let me introduce you to the block button. I'm not going to allow that here. I'm not going to allow that. Do I know who I'm talking to? Yeah, Andrew, I know who I'm talking to. I'm talking to a man that I'm blocking. Bye-bye. Anyway, before I'm rudely interrupted. Yeah, we're not going to put up with that. Every person has a right to make the decision that's best for them. And unless you have MD behind your name, then I think it's very, very dangerous to give people medical advice. So there. So there we go. So what I'm saying to you guys is you have to do what's right for you. And don't allow armchair MDs, people, thank you, who have no medical experience or knowledge behind them. Don't allow them to convince you or tell you anything. Get information from credible sources. So aren't you supposed to be in church? It's Saturday. Yeah, you're right. And that's why I'm blocking you too. Bye-bye. Okay. Anybody else want to be blocked? As a matter of fact, let's just take this. Bye, trolls. TikTok, of course, trolls have to come in. So now we have subscriber chat only. So if you're not a subscriber, you can't chat. All right. So there we go. Anyway, I really do appreciate all of the well wishes. So thank you guys. And oh, you're good. You have good news. That's great. Also, someone sent me, I don't know who it was, but someone sent me a beautiful, and this was weird because Judy Ann and I were just talking about this the other day. And Judy Ann will be joining us in just a moment. But someone sent me this. It's a kneeler. It's a beautiful kneeler, but there was no name in it or nothing. And as a matter of fact, I'm going to take this to our retreat. Oh, it was you, Tracy Ann. Oh, thank you, Tracy Ann. This was beautiful, Tracy Ann. Thank you. So Tracy Ann is one of our moderators and friends there on TikTok. And this is a beautiful, absolutely gorgeous kneeler. So that's very, that's very nice of you. Thank you for doing that, Tracy Ann. And it was so funny you did that because I was just speaking to Judy Ann, and I was telling her about that. So that's pretty cool. But so anyway, Miss Wilma will not be here with us. But you know what? We got to do this. We got to do this. We got to do it. Okay. Yes. Huh? Yes, absolutely. She was.
I pretty
Okay.
much was.
Yes.
That's not far from the truth. Do I need my fire extinguisher here? Things got pretty hot in that conversation over.
Oh, just trolls. Trolls. Yeah. That's the thing. Here's the deal with me. First of all, I love. Oh, thank you there, Sour Gummy. I'm a natural remedy guy. I love natural remedies. I think it's very important, and I'm all about that. If a natural remedy can take care of the issue, I'm 100% in favor of natural remedies. 100. As a matter of fact, I even have a book, the Amish book over here. I think
absolutely.
Let me see if I have that over. I got it somewhere. But why don't you talk to everybody for a second? Let me go get it. I'll show you.
Okay. Well, first of all, I want to thank Tracy Ann for that beautiful kneeler. That was so thoughtful.
Yeah, I think so too.
Thank you, dear.
That was so. Here it is. I got this. This is it's from Powerful recipes at your fingertips. It's a really, really powerful book. It has pretty much every single thing. Maybe I'll even do a presentation on this once. And
The Apothecary, yes.
Yeah.
I see that very book. In fact, I have it in my shopping cart on Amazon.
well, I tell you what, and this has it has like this if you're dealing with whatever issues. So when I tell you that I really am a natural remedy guy, I am. That's not just something. I'm not
Very
just
true.
blowing smoke. I really truly am, and it's a pretty good sized book. And they have it for a lot. Like if you're dealing with joint pain, Amish ibuprofen. So there's several things for relaxations. So it's a good book. It's a good read. So I really do mean that when I say that. So oh well, thank
And
you, Tracy Ann.
This stuff works. It really does work.
So Miss Wilma is not with us tonight. She's like I said, she was released from the hospital today, and but her vitals are fine. So that's always a good news. If her vitals are fine, she's on the mend. That's always a good news. So like I said, next week she might, I don't know if she's watching this or not, but next week she should be feeling much, much better to where she can join us. I would imagine. So how have you been there, Miss Judy Ann?
Hey, I'm great. I'm gearing up to get another issue of the magazine completed. So that's good. The job is going well. I wanted to shift gears from apples to oranges for a minute.
Mhm.
The adjuvants that are the substances added to vaccines, those enhance the immune response to the vaccine antigen, and those vary. And sometimes those they can cause more pain than usual. It just depends on how they mix those. But I thought I would point this out as somebody who has to have a tetanus shot, since tetanus, the pathogen that's responsible for causing lockjaw or full-blown tetanus, is in horse manure. So obviously I have to be vaccinated. The tetanus shot is probably the most painful vaccine that you can get.
Yeah.
And it depends on how they mix in those adjuvants. So anyway, little trivia for you. Just thought I'd mention that.
Well, the last shot that I got for the shingles, none of the shots hurt. But I definitely it really is sore. Because it's the second shot, it's the last shot. I'll never have to have another shot. It's for life. Miss Wilma ended up getting shingles. And so it was pretty rough. She went through some pretty tough times. She still has it, and but it's like you have a really bad deep bruise, on your arm. That's what it feels like. And I could not sleep on my side. I just could not.
I couldn't move my arm when it hurt. I mean, it was really something.
But if I have, I can say I slept on my side last night, which was great. So if I have to deal with 1, even 2 days of being uncomfortable because, kind of hurts. Oh, look at that. We've lost over 100 people on TikTok since I took subscriber chat only. 100 people. That's how many trolls we had in here. That's how toxic it's become. Just let that sink in. Now over 100 and more than 100 people. I put sub chat only on, and I did that because the trolls were coming in. So we turned it off. We put sub chat on, and then over 100 people left. Let that sink in.
People are very divided and borderline hostile in their opinion about whether to take the poke or not. Everybody has a strong opinion about it. Some based on experience, some not. And here we are. But you know what?
Yep.
In heaven, we're not going to have to worry about any such things.
Amen.
So I focus on the Lord.
Every person must make their own decision regarding their health. And one thing that I'm never going to do is I'm never, ever, thank you for America. I'm never, ever going to, or I never want to mislead anybody. And then them saying, yeah, Bishop Long's really speaking out against the vaccine. And then they chose not to get it. And then they get COVID. And because they get COVID, their body can't handle it. And then, because I can't tell you how many times there were quite a few people that I saw in the hospital, and I asked them, why didn't you get the vaccine? Well, because a friend of a friend said not to. They were able to survive it after they were on the incubator for a while. And then I asked them, why didn't you do it? Well, a friend of a friend said not to because they heard it was this poison, that poison. And then they wish they would have gotten it. Well, yeah, because they were on incubator. So had they gotten the vaccine, then they wouldn't have almost lost their life. And so to me, I think it's very dangerous, because if you don't have MD behind your name and you're going to tell somebody, don't get it, they may listen to that. And if they do, and then they get COVID and their body can't handle it, well, you're going to be somewhat responsible for that. Not you, but the person is convincing people not to do it.
I tell people to do their own research and talk to doctors.
That's right.
And don't just talk to a doctor who pushes all the drug companies. You got to be careful. And I know that you don't do that. It's very obvious. There you have your apothecary book. I know you're into holistic natural remedies. That's a personal decision.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody has to make that choice. But people get mad about it. Just, you're giving experience with this, very good experience, and you're doing what's best for you. I'm just happy to see you upright.
Yeah, me too. I'm
happy to see you vertical.
And really, honestly, it's because because of my experience that I had that month. I'll never, Judy-Ann, I'll never go. And see, the thing with me is, COVID triggered my migraines. So I was now having more problems because not only was I in extreme pain with my migraines, but I can't take any more medicines that I'm taking as it is. So it was a nonstop migraine. That's why I canceled for an entire month. I couldn't do it because I had migraines that were nonstop for practically the entire month because they were triggering them.
I remember. Well, let's not forget that you were hospitalized and you had emergency surgery.
Yeah,
as well.
gallbladder. Yeah.
You were out of commission for about 2 months, and there was a time I was extremely worried about you. I wondered if I was going to lose my friend. I really did. I was very scared.
Let me tell you something. I know pain, and I have never in my life experienced a pain as I have in the gallbladder. My gallbladder was massive. The doctor said they couldn't take it out. They had to actually cut me open because, unfortunately, they couldn't do it, through laser surgery because it was so massive and enlarged. Had it think that if they pushed off the doctor said for even several more days, I could have been in some serious trouble. I mean, it could have ruptured. So he was saying it was huge. I remember that. So I remember that. Just make sure you take good care of yourself, guys. If you have gallbladder issues, take care of it. Take care of it. Just take care of your health. You got one body, and just take good care of it. That's the most important thing. So besides work, what else have you been up to?
Springtime is here. Everything is blooming. It's wonderful. So I'm happy about that. Very happy about that. Aside from that, I think I'm just relieved that you are upright. I was concerned. Whenever you get vaccinations, it affects you differently because you have other issues going on. Yeah. So I always worry about that.
But we're good. We're good. We're better right now. I'm just really hot. I'm really flushed. I have a fan on me right now that's blowing on me. And I have my air conditioning on, even at 61. So I'm just really flushed and just tired. But anyway, so what we're going to do today is we're going to talk a little bit about a few articles, and then I'm going to have some articles. Then we're going to go on TikTok and bring some folks up. I have a meeting tonight at 9:30 p.m. Eastern. And so 9:30 p.m. I'll have to stop, without question. So we'll probably stop here around 9 o'clock on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and all that other stuff. And then we'll bring on the moderators on TikTok, bring you guys up, and we'll go from there. But no, we're fine. We're pushing through. We are pushing through. Do you have any articles?
Take it easy. Drink lots of water. And am I going to be able to ask you the question that I had to table last week? Because I had 2 questions for you, and I only asked 1.
Oh, it depends on what question that is.
Oh, it was just a Bishop Long question, kind of dealing with your experience as studying philosophy and demonic and all of that. We don't have to do it right now. You can tell your stories first.
No, what's the question?
Well, the ancient Egyptians had a very complex pantheon, I guess, of gods.
We talked about that, remember?
No, you and I did, but I don't think I asked it in front of the audience. Did I?
I think you did.
I don't think I did. I just remember. Maybe I did. Maybe I
Yeah,
did. I'm sorry.
yeah, we did.
I was asking you if Satan, because he had once been among the holy beings, if he did this to desecrate and spit in the face of God by encouraging them to worship all these afterlife creatures like Horus and Anubis, and they all had animal heads. So maybe you did. I didn't remember because I always highlight the questions after I ask you them, and I didn't do that. So
Well, yeah,
anyway,
and there's a lot of people that love to say that the Jesus narrative was stolen from Horus. I hear that
oh,
all the time,
that
all the
that's such
time.
bunk.
Have you heard this as well?
Yes, and it's disgusting. It's ridiculous.
It just so irresponsible. Every single Christmas, they always do this. They always. So for those of you, Horus, it's not true at all. In so many stories, but the earliest stories that are 1280 BC, the Book of the Dead describes a god named Horus. And they say that Jesus, that it was that Jesus, that Horus was born of the Virgin Isis. No, and that the birthday is December 25th, and the Eastern Star led three wise men and taken to Egypt to escape a typhoon and taught in the temple as a child. So basically, they're saying that every single story that Horus was that they stole, and they said, "See, Jesus stole it," and that it actually was all a lie. It's all a lie.
You know, I worry so much. I am sick to my stomach about what the people who propagate this crap are going to face on Judgment Day. They are leading people astray.
Yeah. Okay. Well, there's a lot of people talking. So you let me go over this a little bit, shall I? Since you brought it up, and I think it's important to
Yes.
discuss it.
Yes.
So Horus looks kind of like this. There's a picture of Jesus, and then there's a picture of Horus, and Horus looks very wise, and Jesus looks completely dumbfounded. So they say, aha, Horus was written 5,000 years ago, and Jesus was written 2,000 years ago. And they say that Horus was born of a Virgin Isis. And we know that Jesus was born of the Virgin Mary. So they say but no, Horus was not conceived of a virgin. That is a lie. In fact, both mural and textual evidence, if you see it from Egypt, indicates that there is no evidence that Mary, Meri, was ever a part of her name. So that's a lie. It wasn't a virgin birth. You can look it up. I'm not going to sit here and go into detail, but it certainly was pretty weird on how she conceived to have Horus. And again, this is mythology.
I remember that. It's disgusting.
It says that the Eastern Star led three wise men to Horus. No, there is no evidence that three wise men were a part of Horus' story at all. It says that Horus taught in the temple. Well, Jesus taught in the temple. Horus never taught in a temple at 12. Jesus did. And so again, there was nothing at all. It says that Horus was baptized by Anup the Baptizer. That's what people claim. That, again, is a big, fat lie. And I spoke to a person who's an expert in mythology and Egyptian mythology. So Horus was never baptized, ever. And then they say that he performed miracles, walked on water, and that he raised El Lazarus from the dead. Again, there's no mention of exorcising demons or raising people from the dead or walking on water in the Horus narrative. And then it says, but Horus was transfigured on a mount, and so was Jesus. Nope. Horus never delivered a mount on the sermon. He was never transfigured. It was another. I can go on and on and on. So it's just a lie to discredit the Jesus narrative. Again, typical nonsense.
They're really grasping at straws, aren't they?
They do this every single year, every year.
I don't know who would believe that. It's so silly.
Quite a bit, quite a few, because people always ask me every single time. They say, I've read this or I read that, or I'm hearing that the Jesus narrative was all stolen from these Egyptian mythology people. Is it true? No, it is not. It is a lie. It is a lie.
Well, thank you for covering that.
Yeah, I don't. I don't know why people are so, determined to discredit the Jesus narrative. I don't know why they feel so
Mhm.
threatened by Christ. I don't get it. I don't
I
understand.
don't either. Well, Satan knows his time is short, so these types of things are going to escalate in the last days. And boy, I'm glad I'm rooted in faith, and again, I'm so appreciative of your ministry, your grace.
Well, yeah, well, I
It
appreciate
saved
it.
me. It saved me.
Well, so do you have, well, thank you. So do you have any stories that you want to pass on?
No, I don't. I'm just so relieved that you're okay. But I'm eager to listen to your stories. I know you have some things to share.
Well, we are. Yeah, yeah. Someone's asking on Messenger. Yeah, we talked about the Euphrates the other day. For those of you who don't know, Euphrates, well, it's one of the longest rivers in Western Asia, actually. And if you're looking on the map, what you need to do is it originates in eastern highlands of Turkey, and it flows southeast through Syria and Iraq before joining with the Tigris River. So that's where you can find if you, and people are always, of course, asking, well, is it drying up? Is it drying up? Is it drying up? It is not dried up. Again, that was someone who was putting nonsense together and put it all over social media that the Euphrates River is all dried up. That is incorrect. I actually have a friend of mine, a couple of friends of mine in Israel, and it's not. It is drying up. That is true. But I think they said something about 2000, maybe 35 or 2040. It should be dried up by then, the way it's looking. But no, there's no indication at all that it's dried up. Once again, people spreading nonsense online to scare people, and that's all it is. That's all it is. It's just to scare people because it says in Revelation that the Euphrates, of course, they'll be marching and all that other stuff to Jerusalem, to Israel. So anyway, I just want to pass that on. Once again, more misinformation, just like the Pope.
The portal. Oh, the demon thing,
The
and then the
demon
portal
thing. I mean,
yes, that's terrible.
it was so unbelievably
Mm.
idiotic, and it spread like wildfire. That people were saying, "Oh my gosh, the Pope is saying demons are out to get him. They're trying to drag him to hell." It's all a lie. It was all a lie. It never happened. It never happened. So, but it spread like wildfire, and everybody kept asking, "Oh, is the Pope still thinking the demons are going to?" It never happened. But see, that's how bad it is. That's how things spread. So you don't have any articles at all?
Oh, well, the only thing I have, I was going to say that we do have some neat ghost towns out here that I can't wait for a visit one day because I want to show you these things. And I also want to take you to some haunted locations. And if I can get you in the saddle, I'd love to take you to a place called Stehekin. It's a little town in Washington State, and you can only get there by horseback.
Oh, wow.
Isn't that neat? Yeah, you can get there by boat and helicopter, but most people go by. You can't drive there in a vehicle. And I thought, he'd really enjoy that as long as he wasn't afraid of the horse. So
Oh, no.
we might have to get you in the saddle, and I think that would be fun. And look at the live streams you could do because I have my portable Starlink, and you could live stream from the saddle. I mean, that's Ben Cartwright stuff right there.
That is really cool.
Yeah.
Well,
But that's all I have. So I'm eager to hear what you have to share.
boo! We gotta put Judy Ann in timeout with Father Sean for not
Why?
having any articles. Boo!
Well,
Boo!
Well,
Mhm.
uh,
Oh yeah! Oh yeah!
I thought I hadn't asked you about, those Egyptian things. Oh, did you see? Somebody, and I need to look. You're laughing at me again. I did see where apparently there's a huge chamber beneath the pyramid. Stop smiling at me.
Yes.
Did you see that?
Yes. Matter of fact, that's one of my articles I was going to talk about. Isn't that crazy?
Oh, yes, yes. Would you ever? I've always wanted to go to see the pyramids, but I'm scared to death of hauntings. Would you go with me? So
I would. However, I do know a couple of friends of mine who are clergy who went to the pyramids. You really need to have somebody who is local because there is a lot of fraud that
Oh,
happens
yes.
with people trying to say, "Oh, you need to buy this, you need to buy this," and you end up buying it, and then it comes up, it's like 3 times as much as it should be. So you got to be
Mhm.
really, really, really careful. There's a lot of
You have to yeah, you
yeah,
need to hook up with a reputable guide.
yeah.
Absolutely.
I heard about that. That's but you know what? I honestly think that there's no telling how much is really behind these things, yeah, or underneath these. We just simply don't know.
Well,
So,
can I ask you this? Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
so for those of you who have no idea what we're talking about, so this is by T.K. Randall. Scientists claim to have found a vast city beneath Egypt's pyramids. So a recent study has reportedly discovered evidence of structures stretching thousands of feet beneath the desert sands. The discovery, which was made by researchers from Scotland's University and Italy's University of Pisa, involving using radar pulses to create high-resolution images of what lies beneath Egypt's pyramids. So describing their find as groundbreaking. The team reportedly discovered 8 vertical structures extending 2,100 feet beneath the ground, and even more unidentified structures descending even a further 4,000 feet below that. And if it turned out that there was really such a vast complex below the pyramids, it would surely be one of the most important archaeological discoveries. Well, certainly. That said, however, other researchers have been quick to cast doubt on the significance of the find. So radar expert Professor Lawrence Conyers of the University of Denver, for example, has expressed reservations on the basis that radar pulse technology cannot penetrate so deep into the ground. And he described the claims as a vast city to be a huge exaggeration, but maintained it is possible that there could be small undiscovered chambers and caverns beneath the pyramids. So the only way to know for sure, he said, was to excavate the site. Says, my take that as long as authors are not making things up and their basic methods are correct, their interpretations should be given a look by all who care about the site. So that's what he said. He said, we can quibble about interpretations, and that is called science. But the basic methods need to be solid. And right now, it is still in the early days of the research team. Their findings have to be peer reviewed. So he's basically saying, okay, there might be something there. There could be some type of structure. But he also is arguing that it could also be caves. So we just simply don't know. But it's pretty interesting. That's the update.
It's really fascinating. Could it be underneath near Farmington, Missouri, where I stayed quite a bit? This whole town beneath they used to mine salt, I think it was, and the whole thing is filled with a lake now. So you're driving over these caverns and lakes. Could it be something that had something in it, like a liquid, and it drained out?
Yeah.
Could it have been water under there, and now it's just a dry underground lake bed?
Certainly could be. Yeah. And of course, if there's any type of, yeah, I mean, you got that's a good point. If there is water that came through, and we all know that, water can certainly cause issues with the land, and maybe they're seeing tunnels that can be explained logically. We just simply, they don't know. And they're not going to know until they actually excavate. And who knows, they may not be given permission to do that too. Because the Egyptians are pretty protective of doing that.
Oh, they are.
Oh yeah, yeah. So they're you gotta, because let's face it, whether it's good or bad, it is a huge tourist destination, and they make a substantial money, substantial on the economy. So they're very protective of that, and then also they're protective of the history and maintaining that its integrity.
About the time of Howard Carter, when he discovered Tutankhamun, they were robbing graves. I mean, they were removing artifacts that told the history. In fact, I read that in parts of Europe, they were actually using the mummies and grinding them up for fertilizer in the fields, which I thought was horrific.
Well, yes. Well, and also speaking of sacred sites, like, the pyramids in Egypt, this is an interesting, I couldn't believe this guy did this. I thought, what's wrong with people? So this is by Charlotte Phillip in People magazine. A tourist was attacked by locals after climbing the forbidden Mayan temple in Mexico. This was just recently. A tourist visiting Mexico was arrested and later attacked after he climbed up the side of the historic Mayan temple. In a video footage that you can see online, a man from Germany, whose identity has not been made public, can be seen scaling the side of this temple in Yucatan, Mexico, on Thursday, March 20th, as locals yelled at him for trespassing. Says, "You are not allowed to go up to the temple." One onlooker can be heard yelling in Spanish as the other person shouted, "Idiot" and "stupid." A security guard can then be seen climbing up the temple after the man. And after they reached the top, the crowd on the ground below booed. And before long, members of the Mexican National Guard ran up to catch the tourist. He was quickly arrested and led away with his hands tied behind his back. Video also shows members of the public running up to the man as he was being led away by National Guard personnel and hitting and yelling at him in the process. Anyway, Mexican News Daily reported that between 8,000 and 9,000 people were visiting the temple at the time of the incident, also in the spring equinox. So it's a historical site. And according to the ancient Mayans constructed the structure to measure the time of the year. And it is no longer, they used to be able to climb up there, but you can't do this anymore. So for illegal visitors to climb the pyramid structure, as previous climbers caused significant damage to the building. So Mexico's federal law on monuments and archaeological zones states that anyone who is caught climbing the pyramid faces fines ranging between $3,200 to $16,000, and even prison time in more severe cases of damage. So guys, if you go to Mexico and you see these pyramids, it is against the law. You cannot climb. Don't climb those stairs. Stay away from them. Respect the sites. Because if you do, then you're going to, you're going to face a heavy fine and perhaps maybe even more. So yeah, stay away from that, guys. Don't do that. So I don't know if you heard about that, Judy-Ann.
I did hear about that. I don't know why people are so disrespectful. Why do they think they can?
Probably, honestly, so they could go online and
Well,
go online,
video, right?
There, by the way, there's a new social trend now of putting, don't ask me, well, I don't know why, people putting super glue on your lips.
No, thank you.
There's a trend it's an actual trend now going on, and people are doing that and then recording and going live. But so just heads up on that. If you have kids, that's a trend. Yes, there's a trend going on, putting super glue on your lips.
Who comes up with this stuff? Clearly, they are not valedictorians. Since we were speaking about the pyramids, did you see the pictures of the dog who climbed to the top of the Great Pyramid?
I did, yeah.
Wasn't that something?
That was pretty cool. That was pretty neat.
He was just trying to get attention, more clicks on his TikTok page, right?
Yeah, hey, and it worked. I mean, it's pretty interesting. That's a heavy jump up, a walk up there. So he got his workout, that's for sure.
It's over 450 feet, I think. So
yeah, and also, folks. So let me give you, because this is important. So there are current trends right now that are going online that I did a little bit of research on, and this is what you need to be watching for. So if you have kiddos, or even if you have some teenagers, these are the current trends. So be on the lookout for this. So because they are very dangerous. So some TikTok challenges are more than just harmful; they're potentially deadly. This is a site by Jackie Bauckham. And it says here below are some of the worst. It's the One Chip Challenge. So the challenge was promoted by Paqui, an American brand of tortilla chips. It involves eating a single chip made with Carolina Reaper peppers, which are known as the hottest peppers in the world. So the problem is this. When a teen passed away in 2023, soon after participating in the challenge, Paqui pulled the product off the store shelves. Extremely spicy foods can cause vomiting, diarrhea, heart problems, etc. And Paqui's chips came with a warning label that stated only adults should consume it. So people are now trying to get the next hottest thing and to continue this challenge. So just get heads up on this. The next one is called, and I know it's as incredible, it's called the Skull Breaker Challenge.
I don't even want to know about this, do I?
Well, really, it's so dangerous. It involves 3 people standing side by side. The middle person is told they are taking a jumping photo. And while 2 others are in on the prank, just as the middle person jumps in the air, those standing on each side kick the jumper's legs from under them, causing a backward fall. The forceful trauma to the neck and head have been reported. It has resulted in spinal cord injuries, paralysis, and people have been unalived because of it. So if you're watching and you're thinking about doing this, don't. The next one is called the Blackout Challenge. It's also referred as the Pass Out Challenge. And TikTokers are encouraged to cause, I got to be very careful how to say this, so they can't breathe until they black out. And then film their adrenaline rush as they regain consciousness. So this is actually what people are doing now. So they're trying to purposely stop their ability to breathe, and then just at the last minute, breathe again and to film it. I know. You think that's bad? There's another thing called the Chroming Challenge. So an unfortunate and dangerous challenge called chroming involves inhaling toxic fumes from aerosol or paint cans with the intention of getting high. Users on TikTok can track down videos of chroming by searching the hashtag, which I'm not going to tell you, and such monikers prevent the harmful content from being removed. By early 2023, the challenge had a shocking 546 million views on TikTok. And several teenagers have unfortunately lost their lives because they participated in that activity. So chroming is a big negative. Don't do this.
It's almost like social media hazing, like they did in college, which is illegal.
Yeah.
I don't even know if I can say that word, but this is such a race for stupid stunts.
But this is what they're doing. And so that's why people need to be aware of this. There's also a thing called The Game. It's also known as the Blue Whale Challenge. It manipulates kids into performing increasingly more dangerous tasks over the course of 50 days. And what starts off harmless, such as listening to a certain song, escalates into more dangerous tasks, such as carving a whale into your arm, and with unaliving oneself in the final task. So players are chosen by an anonymous person and exhorted with threats and disclosing highly personal information like doxing them. So if you ever hear of that challenge, put a stop to that. So there's another one that's going on. It's called the Milk Crate Challenge. So again, a lot of parents, I didn't know any about it. I didn't know any of this stuff. And if you're a parent, you're probably going to be very happy and grateful that this is being presented to you. Because when I read this, I'm thinking, I would just wonder how many parents know that this is going on. So the Milk Crate Challenge, you don't think much of. When I think of a Milk Crate Challenge, okay, you drink a lot of milk. Well, in this challenge, participants attempt to walk over a pyramid of stacked milk crates, typically arranged in a staircase-like structure. The goal is to walk from one side to the other without falling. The problem is most attempts end in falls, and the crates are unstable. And hospitals have treated individuals with injuries ranging from broken bones to spinal cord injuries. So if you hear of the Milk Crate Challenge, just know what's going on. There's another called the Silhouette Challenge. Now, when I'm thinking of a silhouette challenge, I'm thinking, okay, you're probably, putting a picture and someone's trying to draw a picture of you, the best person who can draw a silhouette of a person standing next to a door or something like that. Well, this trend sees participants pose in front of a camera in a doorway or other well-lit area, usually wearing casual clothing. Then they transition to a completely dark background with some backlight to show only a silhouette of their bodies, at which point the participant has changed into a more revealing attire. Sometimes wearing no clothes. The problem, some have figured out how to edit the lighting in these videos. exposing the person's body and face. So if you hear of the silhouette challenge, you got to put a stop to that, because there are some really bad people out there that have figured out how to brighten it. And now you have, teenagers and young adults who are thinking that there's nothing wrong with this. In fact, now they're all over social
Fully
media.
exposed.
Yeah, fully
Yeah,
exposed. Literally.
exposed. These trends really invalidate higher intelligence. I'm sorry, it just does.
Yeah, I agree. But a lot of people want to try to get that viral video, and so teenagers, obviously, their brains are not fully developed. I think some adults, our brains are not fully developed, but that's a different story. But the teenagers, their brains are still in the process of developing, and they want to hit that, be viral, And so there's another called beer tanning. Many millennials remember lathering up with baby oil to achieve a perfect summer tan. Okay, well, today kids are being encouraged to pour beer on themselves prior to going out to the sun for a quick tan. Well, doctors have warned that this trend doesn't work. Kids are skipping sunscreen, leading to sunburns. Unprotected time in the sun increases the risk of skin cancer and premature aging. So that's what's going on. These are crazy, but people are doing this. Okay. Then there's called the fire challenge. The fire challenge. And in this challenge, participants spray hairspray into a mirror or onto a mirror, sometimes in a specific shape, and then ignite the spray. Participants have been hospitalized with severe burns to their bodies as a result. And there's a risk of the fire spreading, which can lead to property damage. So if you hear your child or your teenage saying the fire challenge, that's not something you want. There's the nutmeg challenge. TikTokers are encouraged to consume 2 tablespoons, about 28 grams, of nutmeg mixed with water to experience a hallucinogenic high. Here's the problem with this. Just 5 grams of nutmeg can disrupt normal brain function. Toxic effects of nutmeg include hallucination, nausea, vomiting, restlessness, and elevated heart rate. Though rare, nutmeg poisoning has been linked to organ failure and death. So you all need to be aware of this. This is going around a lot. So the nutmeg challenge is something you have to be aware. It is very, very dangerous.
Guys, whatever happened to like egging cars and toilet paper in houses? I don't get it.
Yeah, well, I don't know why people are doing this type of stuff.
Dangerous.
Oh, yeah, when I was
Not normal.
reading some of this, I thought this is insane. Another really popular one is called the dragon breath. So here's what they're doing. Food that is dipped in liquid nitrogen, particularly cereal, is consumed to create an effect to a dragon's breath, with the vapor coming out of the person's mouth and nose. Now, here's the issue with this. At minus 320 degrees Fahrenheit, liquid nitrogen is extremely cold, can cause burns and even frostbite when coming into contact with the skin. Internal organs can be damaged by liquid nitrogen. Inhaling vapor can cause breathing difficulties, especially those with asthma. So recently, over 20 kids were harmed by this threat. It's called dragon breath. I think we should continue with this. Because there are so many.
Keep going.
There are so many. There's another called the ick challenge. Participants record themselves saying things that are turn-offs or annoyances in their own relationship, known as the ick, in front of their partner or friend. Some parents have gone as far as listing their grievances about their young children in front of the child, such as, "It gives me the ick that you're so messy," and "It gives me the ick that I have to pay so much money for your activities." So the problem is most are funny or lighthearted, but others can affect someone's self-esteem, cause hurt feelings. And pointing out negative attributes can incite bullying. One mother said, "It gives me the ick knowing that I had a child with your father." Why would you say this to your child? Why?
How could any mother say something like that?
I agree. I agree. And then there's called the Galaxy Gas Challenge. So the trend involves users getting high on nitrous oxide. Nitrous oxide, often referred as the laughing gas, can be found in whipping cream chargers. The name Galaxy Gas comes from a brand that makes nitrous oxide chargers. Here's the problem. Using nitrous oxide to get high can result in headache, lightheadedness, palpitations, and even passing away. Nitrous oxide can also be addictive. So that's occurring quite often on these social media trends. And then there are illegal trends, and we'll talk about that on another time when we have more time. But this is something that I think people need to be aware of, because there are dangerous trends that kids are doing so they can go viral.
They're that desperate for attention.
Well,
That's really crazy. And who wouldn't know how dangerous liquid nitrogen is? I had a liquid nitrogen tank when I had cattle, and we would freeze the semen in it, and that's how we performed the artificial insemination on the cows. And you always were worried about getting burned with that stuff.
Yeah, it's definitely dangerous stuff. So make sure you guys are keeping up with your kiddos. And if you see your child doing any type of trends, you need to definitely look that up, because some of these trends are really, really dangerous, really dangerous. Okay, so why don't we do this? Why don't we disconnect with you, and then I'll say a few things, and then we'll bring up the moderators here in about 10 minutes or so, and we'll go from there.
Sounds good. Sounds good.
All right,
Bye-bye.
we'll see you then. Bye-bye. All right, everybody, that was our Judy Ann. So she'll be with us tomorrow. Allergies are killing me. She'll be with us tomorrow for our Bible study. And then we will, I'm only going to go to 9:30 tonight because I have a meeting this evening. And again, I'm not feeling 100% anyway. And then we will be on air tomorrow for Mass at 6 p.m. That's only going to be on TikTok, just to give you a heads up. I can't air it but on here and there. It's just too complicated. The logistics of it's too complicated. So we will be with you guys, everybody, tomorrow night at 8 p.m. Eastern for our Bible study. And then at 6 p.m., if you want to join us for Mass, it's going to be on TikTok and TikTok only. And that's at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard. Okay? This is a really interesting thing that I want to share with you guys. And then in a moment, we're going to be only on TikTok, because we're going to bring the moderators up on screen, and then people who want to join us, then we're going to bring them up on screen as well. This is the only time of the day that we do that. Oh, we're on TikTok now, Jeannie. So we run TikTok all the time. If we're live here, we're live here on TikTok. But see, I wish I could let you guys watch, but I can't, because you won't be able to see the moderators. You won't be able to hear the moderators. And the only way that we can do this is we have to run it separately on TikTok, because I have TikTok here on this iPad, and the rest of you guys are on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, all that other stuff on this computer. I connect to you guys through StreamYard. TikTok will not allow third-party applications to connect to the application. So I can't connect StreamYard to TikTok. Otherwise, I'd only have one computer. So that's why I have to run it on two separate computers, one on TikTok and one for everybody else. Because again, TikTok does not allow StreamYard or any third-party application to connect to it. So unfortunately, I can't, when we do bring the moderators up, you guys won't be able to see or hear them. So in a moment, that's what I'll be doing. But listen to this. But again, if you want to watch Mass tomorrow at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard, and it will be on TikTok only. And then our allergies on Bible study, it will be for everybody. This is by TK Randall. A strange video shows a shadowy four-legged creature in Argentina. Really interesting. I've seen the video. The short and blurry clip, which has been doing the rounds on social media recently, shows what appears to be a street or garden in Argentina where a strange dark-colored creature can be seen shuffling around the camera on all fours while several dogs wander about in the backyard. The creature, whatever it is, seems to have disproportionately long limbs, but it is pretty much impossible to make out any details due to the dark conditions and poor quality footage. Now, according to local reports from the area, the sighting occurred in the town of Saladillo, where residents are said to have been consumed by fear over the creature's presence. Witnesses have described it as demonic, with inhuman agility that enables it to climb walls and jump between trees. One local fire officer, who wished to remain anonymous, maintained that something was going on. Said he's something big. Another witness said he doesn't walk on all fours. He walks backwards. He's disjointed. He comes apart. His head is upside down while his body moves in an impossible way. Now, you can check this out online. It's everywhere, actually. And it's, matter of fact, I'm just going to type in this and see if it comes out so you guys can watch it later. But it is, I just type in strange video. Yeah. So strange video shows shadowy four-legged creature. And I'm briefly watching it here. Yeah, it is strange. I mean, when you see it, I'm really honestly thinking that this is a man. That's what I think it is. I've seen the video before. I'm pretty convinced that this is a man. And I think it's someone either playing a prank or purposely doing it. But that's what I think. I don't think it's anything that for people to be, oh my gosh, I think it's a man. But that's my opinion. Okay. So that's what I think. So anyway, don't forget, everybody, we're going to close out on Facebook, YouTube, and all that other stuff. Don't forget, we're going to, and I'm sorry that I have to close out the show early, but I have got to go to a meeting today in 28 minutes. So I've got to do this. And then afterwards, we'll be chilling. But tomorrow at 6 p.m. is Mass. And then 8 p.m. is Bible study. 8 p.m. is available to everybody. So if you're watching on Facebook and YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, Instagram, it's going to be available to everybody. And tomorrow I'll be feeling much, much better, I'm sure. So for those of you who are listening to this on podcast, we're going to say goodnight to you guys. Yeah, we do have this podcast. We will have the Bible study podcast. The only show that we don't have podcasted is our night prayer. And so let me just upload this right now so that everybody, if you want to watch this or listen to this later, what you can do is just go to bishopjameslong.com and scroll down to social media links. And there you go. It's all there for you. And I'm just going to type in this. I'm not going to spin. And if you want to listen to this later, you can. So hang on 1 second. Let me upload this. That way I won't forget. And then we'll go on TikTok in just a second. There you go. Okay, so for those of you on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, Instagram, Rumble, thank you for being here. Apologize that the show is so short tonight. But next week, we'll certainly make up for it. And but again, join us tomorrow at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for Bible study. It'll be available for everybody. And then 6 p.m. only on TikTok is when we're going to have Mass. Okay, everybody, thanks for being here. Remember, your value does not decrease based on someone's inability or refusal to see your worth. You're priceless, and don't let anybody tell you or convince you otherwise. Hopefully, we'll see you all tomorrow night. God bless.